Exist we can't believe. You told your story, they laughed it away, but the shadows remember the day, the night you saw what shouldn't be, and the truth followed you home silently. You're not crazy, you're not alone. Welcome to Cryptid Awakenings, where the truth comes crawling out of the dark. Stories whispered by survivors, left with memories and scars. If you've seen the eyes in the tree line, or heard something call your name, pull up a chair by the fire tonight. You survived the same. Dogman howls through the hollow hills. Something moves where the forest chills. Sasquatch steps where the moonlight dies, and something ancient still survives. You try to run, you try to hide. Some things walk just outside the edge of what we understand, and they still roam this land. Welcome to Cryptid Awakenings, where the truth comes crawling out of the dark. Stories whispered by survivors, left with memories and scars. Welcome to Cryptid Awakenings. Survive. You saw something, didn't you?
Well, hello everybody. Welcome to another episode of Cryptid Awakenings. I'm here, Trisha Collins, with my fabulous co-hosts, Hicks from Culture and Alicia Maxey. This is Alicia's second time being a co-host on Cryptid Awakenings, and it has been such a joy becoming good friends with her and sharing the show with her. Guys, we have a great show tonight. We have two awesome guests. But before we bring them out, I just want to shout out to some announcements that we have. And I apologize if I'm slurring my speech. I'm having a really bad headache, migraine. I'm feeling it all the way through my body. So if there's ever a time you just see me disappear, I'm okay. I just have to step away from behind the screen. But first announcement I want to make is Monsters Unleashed is going to be at the West Virginia Bigfoot Festival, October 9th to the 11th. I believe Jennifer Hicks may be coming down as well, along with Donna Copus will be coming down, and a couple other people that I don't know for sure, but they're saying that they might show up, so hopefully they do. It's going to be a really good time. I know I've been busting ass. Sorry, my dog door's open. A fly wanted to make an appearance on the show. But I've been busting ass, pressing shirts, getting merch ready. So please, please, please come out, snag a photo with us, look through our portfolios. We're going to be setting up a couple of videos so the people can see some of our evidence. I'm really excited for this. This is just up the road from my hometown, which is Oak Hill, West Virginia. So this festival means a lot. It is also our 1-year anniversary this month as being Monsters Unleashed, and that's exciting. We hit 1K followers just the other day to celebrate our anniversary. I know, I cried. I'm not gonna lie, I cried for like 20 minutes straight
The hard
about
work
it.
has paid off.
Man, and I have really put in a lot of time, a lot of work, and so has my father. It's definitely been a wild ride for sure, a spooky one as well. Had a lot of cases where I didn't know if I was coming out of the woods, but here I am. Devil can't get me down. Also, take this down. Tonight's show, just want to recognize a few people. Want to recognize Donna Copas with Watchers Maidens. Guys, if you have not subscribed to her YouTube, please go do so. This is an amazing woman. She is a Shawnee elder, has a lot of knowledge on Bigfoot. She calls them Watchers. I mean, fabulous evidence that she has. They're on her property. She talks a lot about them as growing up with them as a 6-year-old child. Go give her a subscribe, give her a like, and show her some love. Also, we have Tracy Jones from Beyond the Veil podcast. This is one of my favorite shows to watch on Wednesday nights. She's an amazing person. She's definitely helped me through a lot of personal stuff. She's my go-to when I have anything spooky happening in my house. I call her and get her advice. She also has a book that you can find on Amazon. It's Witchcraft by Blood and Tradition, A Beginner's Guide. You can follow her on YouTube. Sorry. Check out her book. It's amazing. She's amazing. Go show her some love by subscribing to her. We also have Coven of Curiosities with Cindy Sapp. Also, Marcus Palmer with Federal Paranormal Investigations. Go give them a subscribe to, if you don't mind, on YouTube. These are fantastic people. They are so welcoming, so loving, and they have a pretty good show to watch as well. My last and final announcement is, well, it's not the last one. I have one after this. This is Lily Beth. She is a friend of mine's daughter who is, let me see if I can pronounce this right this way. She is suffering from dysautonomia, and it has her and her family in pretty rough shape right now. She has a feeding tube where they have to push through formula. The insurance does not cover the formula. Each batch is $500. So Monsters Unleashed is asking if you can, please donate something, whether it be 50 cents, $1, $5, whatever you can. Please donate to this young girl. She's so young to have to be going through this. She's in the hospital several times a week having to get fluids and other testing, and she's bouncing around from, I think it's 4 different hospitals now, and their family's really going through it with medical bills and having to travel so much with her. And I love this little girl so much. I think last time I was talking about her, I was telling everybody the story of where she and my son, they were in kindergarten together, and my son always called Lily Beth his girlfriend. And she's such a sweet, bright young lady, and it's really sad to see a child go through something like this. So if you can, please help. Please do. This family is a loving family. They've donated to me when I was in the hospital with my burns. They've donated to a lot of other charities, and now they're needing our help. And I know our community can pull together and help this young lady out. I'm going to pull up their QR codes for their Cash App and Venom, and I'm going to leave them on for a few seconds, and so everybody can screenshot. But if you can, please help this young lady. I've been following the mom's posts, CJ, and it's just breaking my heart every time I see something. This is her Cash App QR code. If you want to take a screenshot of it and you are willing to help, feel free to take a screenshot.
And I think you can also find these codes on Trisha's Facebook page. And did you share it on TikTok as well?
They are on TikTok, they are on my Facebook page, and they are on the Monsters Unleashed Facebook page. And I'm going to be posting them probably on our YouTube. I'm trying to get it put together. I didn't have enough time today. I've been suffering from a migraine all day today. Also, there's somebody else that is needing some help. Miss Alicia, she is still recovering from her attack. She is still unable to work. Her husband Wallace just got out of the hospital from having a stroke, and things have fell short, and she's really needing some help as well. I have her GoFundMe posted in the description of this live, so if you can, please go and try to donate something, or at least share it out. Let's get this out there and try to help this young lady and Alicia. They could really use our help right now. That's all the oh no, I have one more announcement, guys. I'm a personal fundraiser. I am trying to get a better thermal, even though I can't really complain about my other thermal after what I caught a couple weeks ago. But I'm needing a better one, something that'll keep me a little more hands-free out in the LBL. So I am making t-shirts with this design on it. It says, "I'm not a mean person, but man, you make it fucking hard." And if that isn't the truest statement, it is. These are $25, including shipping. I could do it on any color shirt you want. I do not recommend black because the lettering up here is black. I have another design that is on its way. The lettering white, so we'll do a black shirt. If you are interested, please find me on Facebook. Send me a message, and I get that process started. Like I said, they're $25, including shipping. And really, I like 4 months to take it off. But with that being said, guys, I want to send it any minutes. But tonight we have 2 fabulous guests from of Dark Podcast, Mojo the Mad and Dr. Clutch. And Jen, if you wouldn't mind, could you please go ahead and bring our lovely guests out?
Yep, I gotcha.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you.
How are you guys doing?
How's it going?
We're doing good. I mean, we're all going through tests right now, especially with the fires that have been burning up here in Spokane. If you haven't heard, there's been quite a bit of fires going on and power outages and weirdness.
I have heard about that. It's made the news cycle. Yeah.
Are they
Sounds
close to
pretty
you?
Been about
Is the fire close
They
to
were
you?
very close to us. Supposedly they were very close to us, but then again, the news made it out to be far worse than it was. I have my opinions on it. There's a lot of rumors of a data center going up in some of these areas where the fires were burning.
Yeah.
Go
And
figure.
there's also video evidence and news reporting of people setting fires too. But they don't want you to talk about
wasn't
that.
it like
Go ahead.
You get caught. If you get caught,
wasn't it like
you're up shit creek without
One
a
at
pad.
a time, please. Ah! Alicia.
wasn't it like 65,000 people had to be evacuated from Spokane area?
Yes, ma'am. A lot of them, like I don't see. Like the thing is it was like chaos and fires, burning, power going out, and then the next day it was just smoky. No fires that we could tell. We can't even go and take a look at the area. The places that people were supposed to go and check out their property, they weren't allowed in. So nobody knows what's going on. There's a lot of rumors, a lot of weird politics going on here in the state of Washington. And so, people did, just because there's an event doesn't mean that event didn't happen. It did happen. People did lose their homes, but there's a lot of just, the data centers are a big deal right now. And that's something that there's going to be a protest coming up here at City Hall, August 11th, for those that want to attend. No more data centers in areas. There's also about the FLIR cameras that are going up all over the place. They're supposed to read license plates and stuff like that. So there's a lot of weirdness going on. I went for a walk just as everyone was having a hard time, freaking out, my wife a little bit. And the power out for just an hour, there was like 18 accidents from people just driving up and down the street, freaking out. The news wasn't helping too much, and they weren't showing us a lot of coverage of what was happening. Most of the coverage that has happened has come from like people who take their camera out and film in areas like 9 Mile in the Autumn area. And we just got downgraded. It was like the big event happened Saturday, and then Sunday was mellowing out. And by today, we've already been lowered down from a level 2 emergency to a level 1 in my area. But yeah, it's pretty terrible. And so for those who pray to whoever you pray to, pray for the people that lost their homes, please.
Yes.
That's crazy.
Pray that we find the information, that it comes out, and we figure it out, and we figure it out together, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's
We'll see
crazy how we can be all the news reporters up, the president's butt all the time, and then but something that drastic, you don't really hear stories about it, and it's thousands of people's lives being changed overnight because of these things.
Yeah. I had Lahaina vibes mixed with COVID vibes, if that gives you any sort of indication of the situation politically and how it was managed here. Yes. So, yeah.
That's so sad.
Just the way people are scrambling. It is very sad. But people have a tendency when like my wife was very anxiety ridden. And I can only imagine to the other people that are hearing this news and not getting a straight answer of where it's at or what's going on, that they had the same thing going on. So, yeah. But it was amazing. We had a show 2 minutes before the show ended. We had Wonder Bob on. And just 2 minutes before the show ended, all the power went out. And I got kicked off. And I thought I was evacuating. And we were getting ready to get our car ready to go evacuate at that time. So we had to manually open the garage, get the cars out. You know, it was one of those days. But once again, despite all that, thank you for having us on. And if, I'm sorry about what's going on with you, Alicia. And I'm sorry, Trish, that you're having a headache. But it's really good to have both you and Jen here again. And it was good to meet Michael last time we were on Creepy Culture.
Yep.
Yeah.
We hope not to disappoint you today,
That was fun.
I don't think you will. We're pretty easy to, get along with. Everything makes us happy for the most part. The only thing that don't make us happy is drama, but we're not about that. So yeah, you're gonna have that. Myself.
I try to be a peacemaker myself, and I try to build bridges instead of burn them. I really do. I have friends on all sides, right? All sides of the spectrum, and I'd rather be on people's good terms. The only time that I would have someone that I really wouldn't want around in my life would be someone who's more unstable than me. Yeah, but
we had a question. Urso said, any lasers seen before the fires?
Oh, that's a good question.
Okay, speculation at this point. A lot of people, like I said, I got Lahaina vibes from this stuff, only because of the data center thing. There are pictures out there that also are not of Spokane. They're of Oregon, being posted all up and down Facebook right now. So you're not really getting a straight answer on anything. Did I see a laser? No, not myself. Would it surprise me if something like that happened? It probably wouldn't surprise me, especially with the fact that they want these data centers up, like really, really bad. What I did see was video of a homeless man setting a trash can on fire, and the reports on a news channel called Spokane News of different people reporting what appeared to be homeless people on bikes setting fires in different locations. My wife just recently did some research and found out that once the media gets involved and they arrest somebody, the insurance companies, right, don't have to pay out their insurance, because the insurance will tell you, go sue the guy that started these fires. But there's no way that one man did all of these fires in different locations. It had to have been a group of people. Okay. So the only two people that I've seen that were identified, one was on the news. He looked like he was sort of an Asian man that had a series of serial arson arrests. And this is not the first time this has happened. During the start of the pandemic, we had people starting fires in different locations. We're on a fine line right now, right? This is kind of why I like being a peacemaker. I don't like burning bridges. I like having people come in of all types to talk, because we're living in a time where we are divided. And that, to me, seems like a psychological operation too. Going back to that gentleman's statement, it would not surprise me if they had that ability, since they just came out with the release of that technology that used to be considered a conspiracy theory, which is now directed energy weapons are real. I've seen what looks like evidence from Lahaina. I've seen that looks like evidence at one point during the lockdowns, where they looked like some sort of beam hit parts of California. Like I said, it wouldn't surprise me if that is the case, but I have no evidence, nor did I witness anything like that.
It wouldn't surprise me either. And guys, we typically don't talk about like government or anything like that, but the whole laser question, nothing surprises me anymore. Look what we just did in Venezuela with that silent
discombobulator. Yeah.
That's infrasound, guys. That's infrasound. And we just went out, took them all out with that. So yeah, nothing surprises me anymore. Nothing at all. No. So, well,
I find it very sad.
So I know it is very sad. It is very sad. And I keep thinking about, the people's homes that have been destroyed, and the animals' homes that have been destroyed, and the Bigfoot's homes that are destroyed. Because we all know that Washington State is Bigfoot country.
Yes, it is
out there.
The bigger fire that is the scariest for a lot of people are the ones living near the Colville Reservation and living near Colville, Washington. Like the focus was here on Spokane, but there's fires throughout California. I mean, not California, Spokane. There's fires throughout California. And so, like throughout Washington State right now. I'm sorry, I was getting kind of distracted there for a second. I'm hearing somebody else's voice.
Yeah, I heard something too. I don't know what it was. It wouldn't surprise me. We've had demonic voices on Monsters Unleashed show before. It wouldn't surprise me at all. That's true story. That actually happened.
If you want to know about a good area, like in my area, where you've seen Bigfoot sightings, okay, there's a place called South Skookum Lake. And South Skookum Lake is a place that has very weird energies. And I think I told that last Creepy Culture podcast about my experience at Skookum Lake. And then I've had an experience with something that was really odd here by my house. But personally, I've had experiences all my life. Like I've had a series of, and it hasn't just been like one thing. Like if it was just like gray aliens, that would be one thing, but I've had like ghost experiences. I've had endless amount. That's kind of what led us to do our show too, was led us to do our show was that we had questions and answers, and we both had some knowledge, me and Clutch. Like we went back and forth talking about like these different things from Bigfoot to cryptids and all of that stuff. So,
Okay.
I'm sorry if I'm babbling here, but
no, you're cool. I was just about to ask if you cared to share a little bit about both of you share a little bit about yourselves, how you guys got started with the of Dark Matters podcast, and then we'll start going into encounters and experiences and the aftermath of them.
Dr. Clutch, you want to take it away?
Sure. Yeah, we got started, a few years ago. We started a podcast called Please Stand By. And we did that for about, I don't know, was that almost a year? And then,
About 4 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. Yeah, please stand
yeah,
by.
but I think it
They're both
ran
on
about a
Skype.
year, and
Yeah.
then we stopped, took a break, and then Mojo approached me again and said, "Let's try this again. Let's rebrand and do something different." I think what we originally tried to do was pre-recorded shows, and that just kind of put Mojo in the business of being the editor, which isn't a fun job to edit pre-recorded shows. So we wanted to do live streams, and so we rebranded and started live streaming on Podbean, and then Podbean a few months ago informed everybody that they're no longer offering live streams, and so we decided let's spend more money and find a platform that is a little more first class compared to Podbean. And so we found StreamYard. I suppose we could have picked anything, but we decided to go with StreamYard, and it's been better than Podbean. There's fewer smelting accidents and audio issues with StreamYard, and so I guess we're like on our, what is that, third three or four tries here to sort of get the show how we want it to go. But I think
Yeah.
it was also going to evolve anyway, whether we stayed on Podbean or not. I think everybody's sort of going into more video streaming options.
Yeah.
So
I've
it's
noticed
been interesting. We used to be a little more political. We still delve into some politics and conspiracy theory now and again, but I think our focus. I think we'd rather be orbiting around more paranormal, supernatural topics, with the sort of conspiracy and news kind of being on the back burner of the oven range, as it were.
Yeah,
so
we,
you guys
we
do a little
started.
bit of everything.
Yeah,
A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
yeah. Like we try to do a roundup now, where it's like us and other fellow podcasters that we do on Podbean, or other people that want to come on. Like anyone that wants to come on, as long as the conversation's civil, we'll let them on, and we enjoy different points of view.
Yes.
Whether you're on the right side or the left side of the paradigm, or if you're a pagan or a Christian or whoever, Satanist, if you want to come on our show, we wouldn't mind having you on our show and having a different point of view, especially if you've had an experience. Like that's the main thing. Like we had Wonder Bob on last weekend, and Wonder Bob is, I guess, kind of like a shaman who guides people through psychedelic experiences and trauma, and different forms of spirituality. And he was a wonderful guest. But like we've had everybody on our show. Like we've had Jennifer on our show. We're going to have Trish and Mike coming up this Saturday, which we're really excited to have.
Yes.
And I was really inspired by In Search Of with Leonard Nimoy. It was a 1970s show. I'm sorry if I'm leaning too far back. I'm getting a little too comfortable. I need to slip by the mic. Leonard Nimoy's In Search Of in the Twilight Zone. Okay, and I wanted to recreate that in my podcast. Like everyone does a podcast, but I wanted to have art. I wanted to have that feeling of experience. That's those sounds that are going on, like in the background, and we wanted to give that feeling to everybody else to get them immersed into our show. And so I'll even wear a suit and tie, and I'll change the color of the screen to be black. I did Clutch's art for his that he has right now for his face, his avatar. I was the one. That's a lot of the artwork we kind of do. And the spiral not only is the hypnotic spiral, but it's a spiral I encountered with when I had a gray alien experience. And so I incorporate that art into our show, into our promos. And for me, it's about, like, I consider a lot of people could disagree, but the word magic, I think, comes from the word imagination. And the only real magic left in this world is poetry, art, music, and of course, being able to recreate that and put that on something, make it beautiful. And and when it's shared, it's even more so. So that's what I feel like we're doing with our podcast. Yeah, and me and Clutch knew each other for some time before the podcast too.
Right.
We'd always talk about politics, and we both came. He was a musician, and I was a promoter, and I was also in a band in Southern California. And
I didn't know that. What kind of band were you in?
What's that?
I said, what kind of band were you in? Like rock, metal?
Well, let's see. For me, I've been in. I think I sort of got my start. Well, I've been doing like metal and punk stuff for a while, and I thought I would. So I started in the Pacific Northwest in Denver, Colorado, and then when I moved to San Diego, I thought I would be able to continue my music career no problem. And I found San Diego to be a little bit tougher. And when I met Mojo, I was at the time I was in like a metal punk duo where I was playing drums and I had a guitar player, and yeah, by the time you're at the status of just two guys trying to make things happen, it's it's things, you kind of know things are getting tough. But yeah, and then Mojo was in I guess like an avant-garde everything band.
Yeah,
kind of doing
I've done
whatever.
so many different projects. Like at the time, okay. Before that, I was in like a trip hop kind of rock band called Giria, and you can find some of that stuff on a compilation called We Run Border Town. But you can also find some of the music that is still existing on a place called Reverb Nation, and it's GURIA. From the breakup of that band, I started the Drama Llama Ding Dongs, which was a way to make fun of all the drama in the band scene and still be sort of punk rock. But we were an everything band. Like we might play like a Spanish song, or we might play a country western song, or we might play a heavy metal song. Like we went with whatever we could really we felt
Whatever you could get away with.
anything we could get away with, yeah. And then we do some covers, like familiar covers, because our stuff was obscure. So we'd mix in some like Velvet Underground, or we'd play like random stuff. I think we did a Donovan song one time, and that was kind of what we were into. We were just kind of into mixing it all together and making it a fun thing. But I had done electronic music since 2020, and I had worked on digital audio workstations, which allowed me to compose music, and that's kind of what I do for our show too now, is I compose music on a digital audio workstation now. But I play bass, self-taught. I play guitar, rhythm, I'm okay. And I play hand drums too. I love playing hand drums and playing any kind of drums or any kind of. I don't know where that's coming from.
I'm starting to see a pattern with you guys. You guys have always just did everything. It's always been everything. Your podcast, you talk about everything. You guys have been in bands that plays a little bit of everything. You played an instrument, all sorts of it, every instrument. So I'm seeing a pattern there with that. I've caught a few of your guys' shows. That last show, Saturday. Alicia, I'm going to mute you for just a second, so she can talk to you, because I don't want you to ignore your baby.
No, that's fine. Okay.
So I watched your guys' show the other day, and I thought it hurt my brain a little bit, and then it started clicking in my head.
Is that a success story for us, Mojo? If you
smartest crane in the box, okay? I do my best. So some of the words he was saying, I'm like, okay, think, Trish, I know this word. And then he started saying more things, and I'm like, okay, now it's clicking. And I thought he was a great guest. You guys had a great guest on there Saturday.
Oh, yeah. Wonder Bob's fun. He's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind maybe bringing him on Cryptid Awakenings one week, because he had a lot of information. He was really, very knowledgeable, and I enjoyed it. But let's start deep diving into some stuff. So You know, we're basically a support group for people that's had encounters that have been traumatized by them, and we kind of help come up with ways that we can help them cope. And you guys just said one of the ways that we really kind of push out there. Art. Art is a form of expression, whether it's through drawing or painting or music, or even just, I just said drawing. I was going to say sketching again, but that is drawing. And that is a really good way for people that have been through traumatic experiences to be able to kind of filter some of that out of their head, to help them cope with it. So I love that you guys, when you guys said that, I'm like, oh, ding, there it is. That's one of the ways that we talk about is getting that out there through expression, whether it's art, journaling, drawing, music, painting, other crafts that you might do. It helps. Hiking.
Yep.
Well, hiking's not really a form of art, though.
No, it's not. It helps me.
Hiking can be an art form. I mean, at first,
yeah.
like, if you can't get up that hill, you're going to have some issues. But after a while, it becomes a little easier. Just like
Hiking and some metal music.
Yeah. That's
There we go.
artistic.
Now that's when hiking becomes art. You know, when you
Yes.
factor in the music and you're just out there listening to Pantera running up the hill with your backpack
Right.
or your
Exactly.
camelback. And you're walking.
See how fast-
I see you, Jen. I
See
see
how
you
fast
now.
Slayer gets you up that hill. Slayer gets you up.
Or the BIBLE song. Just ask her about the BIBLE song.
Oh,
Song.
yes, girl.
She'll tell you all about it. That's how she expressed it. Then one night I was out there with her, and I joined in with her
Sure did.
because it was helping her. So I'm like, all right, maybe if I sing with her, it'll help her even more. And it did. It really did.
Definitely.
True story. But I wanted to ask, what is, and I'm going to start with Mojo, you first. You've had some pretty amazing experiences, and I mean, you've told me them, and was, not having to pick it up, but it's all on the audience to, determine how they feel about it. And I believe you 100% because you had similarities in your experiences that I've had with some of my experiences. And I'm like, that's what I like to try to find. That's how I know when somebody's telling the truth, when they say things that I can relate to based off of mine. And I'm curious to know, what is one experience that you've had that's kind of really messed with you throughout life? One that's just lingered with you and it's just really kind of just made you not okay.
Well, I mean, I think the trauma that I went to as a young child was what opened me up to probably the paranormal and to these strange experiences. Now, I don't remember that trauma too much, but I go into ongoing therapy for, everything from the past or just to talk to. I mean, having someone to talk to is a big deal, right? Like to be able to open up to. But what main experience? The one that sticks with me, I would say every single one of them that I've had is something that I think about daily. There's not a day or a minute that doesn't go by that if it wasn't a personal experience or if it was a shared experience or if it was the shared experiences only gave me validation that my experiences were real. And that was a big plus. I would say the drone experience that I talked about was the one that is the one that just will not go away. And it's also the one that opens up other memories to strange things that I had happened as a child that were related to that. And then I'm constantly getting to these new memories. But the fact that there's a portion of my time that I can't remember what happened is the one that is the hardest. And I've even tried to go through regression therapy to try to figure that out. And it was real difficult to unlock the memory. The reason why it's such a hard experience for me is the drone was nuts and bolts. The stuff that came afterwards with the gray experiences was and somehow in my core being, I know that they're related, and I don't know why. But it feels like I saw something I wasn't supposed to see, and then in turn from seeing that, I have.
Uh-oh, we lost you.
Sorry. No, you didn't lose me. My something fell over on my mouse and it muted the mic. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
So when I say that I saw a drone, okay, and I was trying to download this stuff for you guys so I could upload it, but I didn't have time. So I'm going to do my best to find that picture of that said drone right now so that we can take a look at it real quick. And this is what I saw outside my window. And this thing was silent, man. All right, so here's the drone. Let's take a picture. Let's see if we can take a look. That was the drone I saw in 1986 flying outside my window. It had a little red light that was circling underneath it, and it moved silently. It was hovering. It could be stationary like this. This is how it was hovering outside my window. All right. Do you want me to tell the story again?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I lived in a house that was on the corner in Southern California between La Mesa and El Cajon. It was on the very edge of the Mount Helix. I lived in a place. The address you can look it up right now: 4670 Marcia Lane, and that's the address I use in our events because that seems to be the incident that makes it happen. Okay. It was a kind of a long house with a very long driveway that curved down, and we were at the top of a hill. All right, and we were surrounded. It was not like a subdivision home that I kind of moved into later, but it was like old homes. It had like 4 or 5 rooms. It had a guest room on top, which was the only thing that made it a 2-story house, which is this little loft. Okay, and that was at the south end of the house. Okay. There were stairs that went up, little private bathroom. What overlooked us to the east was our pool, and then the neighboring houses and the mountains around. And then it had a window to the south where you could see into Mount Miguel. And then it had a window to the west, and then a window to the west, and then anything north was the stairs. Okay, and I was up late at night. I was 16 years old. It was 1986. And I was up drawing at my desk, okay? And in this room, it was a pretty square room. There's a couple beds up there. There's a couch. There's a closet. There's the desk and some end tables, the TV. And this is where I would draw all the time. As a kid, I was always drawing, and I think I always had anxiety to a certain degree. So I used my anxiety to channel into my art, okay? So I'm up at night, and I'm drawing. And I think it was it had to have been the summer because I remember my shirt was off and it was hot, and I was going into my sophomore year of high school. Okay, I turned off the light to go to bed, and I went to go lie down. The eastern-facing window was slightly open. Okay, as I look outside the eastern-facing window, I see what looks like a wheel, okay, and that I think you'll see that in this drone is that there is a wheel attached to that drone. Underneath it, I saw what looked like a light, how there's like emergency lights or a light that goes around in a circle. That's what I saw, just going like this, like in a circle. So what happened was I got up, turned on the lights, and then went to the south-facing window to go see what had just went out by my window, and I saw it looked this color too. It was a dull gray color. It had no markings. I didn't see, if I can bring it in closer, that one has markings on it, like Air Force markings. I did not see Air Force markings on that. Okay, I did not see it. It was just that dull gray color, and the nose cone of this thing didn't look like that. The one that I saw resembled what looked like the drones that were flying over Afghanistan. Okay, when we first started seeing drones appear in the military, it had a very curved upwards type of nose cone. So I didn't know what it was at the time. My only reference point to any of the stuff was either a UFO or like Terminator movies, right? Like, I didn't know. I remember going to high school the next day, or not the next day, but like, I'm not sure. Like I know I went to school and I told my friends, okay, I saw a UFO, right? So it had to have been sometime in that time frame period just before I go into school, or I just started school. So it's been some time, all right? It didn't make a sound, this thing, at all. When it moved like this is our house here on top of the hill, and everything kind of sloped like downwards on each side, right? So our house is at the top of the hill. There's a house down this way, and their house is down this way. As this thing is going down, it's following very closely on the rooftops. If you were standing on the rooftop of my neighbor's house, you probably could have brushed it with your hand. That's how low it was flying. So some time passed, and we moved to a place called Rancho San Diego, okay, which is like, that was more like tract homes, okay, where you have these Spanish-style roof homes, and all of the houses look kind of the same, right? Like, you know, you've seen them probably in TV shows and movies of these tract home type subdivisions. It wasn't a locked community, but it was very much, you know, kind of a walled community, not a gated community, but a walled community. And that's when I had what I would say was my first invasive experience with like a gray alien type of experience. And the first thing I remember, I don't remember. I remember the move. I remember going there. But the first thing I remember about this experience is I had like what appeared to be like a telepathic message, but I felt it throughout my whole body, like through every pore, right? And the thought that came into my head would be, wouldn't it be great to take a ride on a UFO? And I didn't. I felt like this kind of feeling like good, like I didn't understand it. And then all of a sudden, like for some reason, I don't remember anything about that week or what led to this experience that happened. So this house, I'm gonna describe it for you a little bit. Okay, there's a garage, there's a kitchen, there's a family room adjacent with sort of a dining room. There's two bedrooms, and then there's the room that I stayed in that became my bedroom, which was basically a TV room. We had a couch in the room. There was a window facing east. There was a love seat. There was a wall on the other side that had like a bookcase slash like, you know, drawers and stuff like that was built into the wall. And then there was a TV stand and a TV. And then two double doors. Okay, one of them usually locked, and I just go in. So as I'm describing this, I'm going to go into the vision dream thing that I had. I don't know if it was a dream or if it was implanted memory. I don't know. So I have a dream. I have this where I'm all of a sudden I'm awake. I'm at my old house, that house that I described, the 2-story house. I'm walking from the east end where the pool is. There are two doors on that like a gate that connects to the driveway. Okay. In between those two gates, there's an air conditioner. There's a door that leads to the garage, and then the end gate goes into the driveway. And there's bougainvillea to your right hand side, and then there's this big driveway that winds down to the front of our house. It shows the garage, and it shows our front door. I'm hearing the sound of what sounds like Tibetan monks, like make an atonal sound, like oh, throughout the whole thing. Like I look up towards the garage or the house part, like it's, you know, going up to the second story, and I see what looks like sort of a transparent face that looks like a gray. But at the same time that transparent face is there, I see 3 octagonal craft. 1 in the front, 2 behind. And like more memories are coming up out of this thing. Underneath them, they were orangey. On top, they were silver. I'm hearing a voice in my head that sounds like they're speaking from a loudspeaker, but it sounds very mechanical. The only way I can describe it, which I'll describe later if you want me to go into more details with other stuff that started coming up from it, from like memory and things that I saw, like I will.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, I'm hearing this speaker thing, like it's like they're speaking out of a loudspeaker, like to anyone that will listen outside. And as they fly by me, I open up the second gate and I say, "Don't leave me here," and I start running towards them. That's when the other two craft take off, and one of them lands towards the end of the driveway where it starts to slant down. It shows up to be the size of a toy, just from perspective. Excuse me. I go up closer to it, and then all of a sudden, it turns into a big craft. This creature, like, it didn't look like any of things in the ship. This thing looked completely different. Like, this thing looked more like it was pinkish. It was weird. It looked kind of like a fetus. I don't know how to explain it. It grabs me, pulls me into the craft, and then all of a sudden, I'm starting to get a splitting headache, like right here, like someone had just hit me in the head with a sledgehammer. I'm on a table, it looks like, or it feels like it's slanted. It's a white room where everything's bright. On my left side, I'm seeing like what looks like a dentist alcove. Okay, if you've ever been in a dentist office, they have like drawers, and they have like this kind of squarish shaped areas where they have a mirror or they have some stuff there or a sink or whatever. But I'm seeing that to my left-hand side. Then these little beings, about 4 feet tall, come running to me, and they look like they were kind of smiling a little bit. Like they weren't gray, like they were like white. They were about as white as the color of the ship, which is really weird. And then I start seeing like it blurs out, and I'm seeing like it looks like an Olmec or Mayan mask on fire. I've drawn a picture of it. If I can find it, I'll try to show it to you. But it looks like it's on fire. Like when you look at the Olmec statue heads, right? Like down in Mexico or Central America, that's almost exactly what it resembled. Then I have a vision of like something looking straight down at me, like from the perspective of its face, like here, and I'm looking up, and everything's distorted. Okay. I can tell it's something, but I can't tell what it is, and I can tell just emotionally that whatever it is isn't happy with me for some reason. Then I start seeing wires, and I start seeing tubing, and it flashes over there, and then everything goes black, like pitch black, but I'm still conscious. Like I'm aware that I'm awake somehow, but it's still all black. Okay, so I find myself as I wake up with a pillow over my head. I'm on the couch in the fetal position. My feet are facing the western window. My head is facing the door. And as I look from the pillow where the head is covering my face with the pillow, I see a being. Its hand is stretched up like this. Not the Vulcan symbol, but its hand is just up like this. And then it has a satchel across its side, and it was a gray alien. Like it looked like a gray alien. And as I regained consciousness, this thing started fading out like it never even existed. And that was preceded by other really weird, like for almost like a week to a month, I was having like what looked like invasive stuff. I had zapping sounds in the back of my neck, followed by like weird seizures, and I could hear the zapping sounds. Like as it was zapping, it was like sounded like a Tesla coil in the back of my neck.
Did you feel anything from it?
Yeah, I felt like I was having a seizure. I was shaking as it was zapping me.
Was it like they put a chip in your head?
I don't know.
No, most people that's been.
I don't remember details.
When I first heard this story, I'm like, I think he was abducted, and I told him, I was like, did you manifest you actually taking a ride in a UFO? Because I mean, you guys heard what he said.
But
I
it doesn't
think
feel like it was my thought, though. It doesn't feel like it was my thought. Like it felt like it was projected into my being. Like it wasn't my voice. It wasn't my thought, but it was like I was talking to myself internally, but it wasn't like me talking internally. It was like something that was put into my head.
What is it? What is it called? Persuasion, like a persuasion. I don't know what the technical term is for it, but like something like that.
The closest I've heard is voice to skull technology. That's the closest that I've heard of this kind of thing. But I'm telling you, I felt it in every pore of my body. Every pore of my body.
Have you heard of virtual reality scenarios? Timothy Alberino talks about those. Would you?
See, that's the thing. I think that this might have been, I saw this drone because I can feel this in my soul, although I can't put the pieces together. That this drone I saw was related to this abduction, whatever it was. The weird thing is, okay, I want to tell you another weird thing is I recently, like not too long ago, I'd say about 4 or 5 years ago, I started watching the old episodes of The Outer Limits. And I never really watched The Outer Limits before. I'd watched like the new version of it, but I was really a Twilight Zone fan. But yeah, I'll check it out on Amazon Prime, and it was on for free for a little while. And I swear to you, the announcer's voice and the weird music to The Outer Limits, something triggered me back to that experience. Because the voice that I heard that sounded mechanical and deep sounded just like the Outer Limits announcer. I don't know. Did I have an experience? I don't know. I couldn't.
That aspect might be coincidental. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
I can't. You can't blame the Outer Limits announcer for.
or they might have used the Outer Limits announcer's voice to project into.
I don't know.
They borrowed the voice.
Yes, because they didn't have the ability to speak our language, so they used the Outer Limits voice as a projection of their language.
I don't know.
Something they just borrowed.
I don't know. I have no idea. I could not.
I've been meaning to show this to you ever since you told me your story and was talking about the drone and the aircraft. I wanted to show you what I caught on Mother's Day, and I'm just going to show you, and I'll explain to you.
Wow. You got some.
Driving.
Fantastic.
Everybody knows I live in a military base, okay? This was Mother's Day this year. I'm driving home, and I see this just hovering over a housing area. And I'm like, what is that? My daughter's like, Mom, go there. It's a plane. 30 seconds later, I call Jen, and you hear my daughter going, Mom, that's not a plane. So I'm telling Jen what I'm seeing, and Jen's like, go record it. So we turn back around, pulled up this alley, and my daughter has my phone. She goes record, and it just zips off and just disappears. Now, several minutes trying to debunk it, okay? Somebody said it was a drone. That's not a drone, because on the base I live at, I have fixed wing drones. That's not fixed wing. Somebody said it was a parrot. This was at 8:39, so it was getting dark. They're not gonna do a paratrooper training mission here. I've never seen them do it here with one paratrooper. It's gonna be a unit of them jumping. And then somebody said, "Oh, it's a plane." That's not a plane. If it was a plane or a drone, I would have been able to still see it for a while. No, this just zipped and gone.
Was it in formation, or was it a singular object?
It was just there hovering, and if you look in the picture, you can see, like right underneath the orange light, look at at that shadow of the shape it makes. You might have to like really peek like it looks like a shadow that looks like a UFO. So I don't know if that's like the whole aircraft. If that's
So
Yeah.
the photo looks like there's a glow to it. Did it look like it was glowing when you saw it, or is that just how the photo looks?
it was glowing when I saw it.
It's
Was it
interesting.
a glow like the actual spaceship was glowing, or was it reflecting off the sunlight glowing?
The sun was like covered. It was as it was getting dark. Sun wasn't even out.
Oh yeah, very true, very true.
It got brighter when I took the photo.
Huh?
Talking
Right
about
before it zipped off.
the aircraft, and I forgot that I had this picture on here, and I wanted to show it to you guys. But this was Mother's Day, and man, that's the first time I've ever seen something like that. But
Yeah.
it just zipped off so quick.
It was like,
And
yeah.
what is
A lot of these things happen very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these things, whenever people have an experience, it happens very quickly.
Yep.
Very quickly. You're lucky if you have time to get a camera in between the time that you're shocked that you see something that is odd.
Hey, Mojo, your experience, do you think the aliens were using cloaking abilities to project themselves looking like a drone to not arouse suspicion?
I don't know. To me, it looked like like the only way I knew that it was a drone was when we were at war in Afghanistan and Iraq. That was the only aha moment that I got from that moment. So what I thought I saw looked like a nuts and bolts craft, like
Okay.
the drone. It just didn't make any sound. But I don't know whether or not it was a projection or what it was, because I didn't touch it and I don't know for sure. But the subsequent like abduction type stuff, I don't know. Like, I still question if that was real or not. Like, but I feel it in my soul that somehow I saw the drone and I wasn't supposed to see the drone, and therefore I had this experiences. But it didn't change the other experiences that happened subsequently after that, and the other ones that I've had following that. And then if it was just grays, I might say, okay, well, then maybe I was abducted by grays. But like I have like what people would consider like time dilation. When I'm around things that are hiding, time slows down for me. It's almost like when you got into a car accident, or you're about to get into a real accident, things start to slow down, but slower. And I've had many experiences with like what you call entities or whatever, where time slows down for me.
They say time dilation's real popular with people that have been in tornadoes. Like they'll say, like, because a tornado goes. Well, tornadoes are like really quick if one goes through your house, but they'll say everything slows down. It's so like what happened in like 20 seconds feels like 35 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, I had an experience with that a few weeks ago. I was driving through a tornado out in the LBL, and I only had like a mile left to get to the campground. And I kid you not, it felt like I drove for an hour to get there.
Mm-hmm.
It's pitch black outside. You can't see this tornado. All I know is this tornado's on the ground and it's close to me, but I can't see it. So, and I had nowhere to go. And my GPS was telling me 1 mile and then you're going to make a right. And it's like I drove and I drove and I drove and I drove and still wasn't there. And I'm like, this is the longest damn mile of my life.
Yeah.
I kind of believe that about the whole time dilation thing with tornadoes. But that's a pretty, I know you told me that experience that you had when I first started talking to you. We were on the phone, and I don't know, it's really weird.
It's sort of like a one-off. It's not like it's not typical. Like, but I mean, there's not everything about that experience like follows patterns from. But then,
Well,
too, it does
what?
seem like the more you dive into other people's UFO encounters, that it's almost like everybody's is pretty unique, and sometimes it's hard to find the
Yeah.
patterns overall.
Jen,
The only pattern that I would have is that I had. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask Jen if
I
there
said
was
the only pattern
anything
that I had.
about your encounter that she, kind of hits on her encounter because she had a UFO encounter. So I was just
Yeah, how
curious.
quiet it was. Hmm
Yeah,
They're
quiet.
silent.
Quiet.
They creep on you. One minute they're there, the next minute they're not. And they're quiet as could be, and they're huge, and it's like nobody else sees them either. It's the weirdest thing.
I've been around people, like a group of 10 people where a UFO flew over my house, an orb,
Hmm
and there were 10 people there and only 5 saw it.
See,
Myself.
that's a thing with them. I don't know what's up with that.
Is it
It's
infrasound? Do they run off of infrasound and only certain people are susceptible to it?
I think it's consciousness in some way.
Hmm
I think some people are willing to accept it, and some people are not willing to accept that. If your level of consciousness and awareness is to a certain degree, like mine probably got heightened.
I think that's part of it, but I also think some people just get switched off.
That could be true. That could be
Yeah.
true too. I think that might be it too, but I think it has something to do with, if someone doesn't believe anything, they're more than likely not going to see something.
Yeah.
But like,
Yeah.
it was just a
It's kind
plane. It was just a plane, It was just a trick of the eye. I seen it out of the corner of my eye. It wasn't there. It was just a shooting star, type of thing.
Yep. They'll try to talk their ways out of it to try to make sense of it. But I mean, point blank, people just did not see it. And then I've stood out with other people, like the validation of that experience was only compounded by seeing like more than one. Like I've stood 50 feet from a UFO.
And
With
as
2 or
I
3
tell
people
people all the
camera.
time, is if you don't believe in UFOs, go out to the middle of the country where it is pitch black and just sit there and look at the sky. There will be so many objects moving around that will have you questioning, like, what is up there, because you will see just stuff floating across the sky, just, and it's not even airplanes, because you can tell an airplane, you can tell the blinking of the bottom of the plane and everything like that. And you can just see stuff zipping across the sky. And they'll say, oh, it's satellites. I'm like, there is no way there is that many satellites of ours that are above our airspace.
Another good way
Them-
is if you have night vision. If you have a good set of night vision goggles,
Right.
up in the
Yeah.
sky with them, you could see them through them. I don't know, UFOs are real weird, but I think it's like we were just talking about. Not a lot of people are open-minded, and we really don't know a lot about them. I mean, yeah, we have this UFO disclosure that's happening, but I'm really not impressed by it. Like I'm tired of seeing the aircrafts. I know you got the photos of the entities. That's what I want to see.
We want answers of who they are.
Yeah.
We don't want, we don't want the whole, oh, yeah, we got a picture here and this is the date and time and stuff that we've seen it. We want to know who these people are. Like, we want to know if it's a government, aircraft that they've been,
Let me
supposedly experimenting with, or if it's actual aliens.
No, people aren't ready for that conversation.
They're not.
we had our disclosure
Absolutely not.
by our experiences. Our disclosure was our experiences.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was the disclosure. So I don't need the government to tell me that this stuff
Absolutely
is
not.
weirdness out there. I don't need that validation. They're gonna do what they're gonna do, and they're gonna use it for whatever they want to use it for, whether it be to cover up for their own experimental weaponry or their own bullshit that they're doing. But
And they're going to give you the redacted version of all the reports.
yeah,
Right. It's
So-
always, which is not really a report.
you've had a
Yeah.
disclosure.
Yeah.
If you've had a cryptid encounter, or if you've had an alien encounter, or in my case, multiple encounters with weirdness, like that's the disclosure. That's the disclosure for you. You don't need that. Any entity that I've experienced, for more or less, whether it be dark or a light being or whatever you want to call it, for the most part, from my experience, only wanted me to know that it existed. Okay, I've had only one negative encounter, but for all the other encounters that I've had, it just seemed like it wanted acknowledgement that I was there and that it knew that I could see and it wanted me to see it.
It'll
That's
only
all I
show
can tell
you what
It's
it wants
it's
you
not
to
as
see.
black and white as good versus evil. I have seen I've had what you might consider a dark entity be helpful and a light entity be something negative. So it's all about perception and those ideas of that are kind of black and white in that line of thinking. I don't believe in. I believe now that's just my opinion because that's what I've experienced. But I've also seen like entities attached to people. There are some people that have an ancestor or a protecting spirit next to them. I've seen people that practice magic or ritual magic that have multiple entities that they've brought onto them.
Yeah.
I've seen people that have, for a brief moment, allowed me to see like their soul kind of, and showed me that. Like I had a friend who was an older like hippie lady, and I saw her soul when she opened herself up for just a brief second, and I saw her as a teenage girl. Like her as a teenage girl. I mean, I don't know if that's a confabulation or if it's, I mean, for the longest time, I thought I was crazy because that's what I was told. When I asked for help from about these things, the first thing they did was refer me to the psychiatric community and put me on a cocktail medication.
That's what
That's
they
A
do.
highly addictive drug.
That's awful. That's why it's important for like people like us. What we're doing here in Cryptid Awakenings is to kind of get in it. They don't have to come on the show to get help. If they need help, our personal information is out there for them to contact us directly. If you feel like you are alone, you don't have anybody, please reach out to us and share what you're going through, and we'll do our best to help you through it. Because there's some
Can I
really
say one
wild.
more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
The minute you step up to tell your stories, you're going to have people like extraordinary stories usually require extraordinary proof. Most people just have stories. So the minute you tell your story or you share your anything with anyone, you're going to have people that don't want to believe. You're just going to have that.
They want to get judged.
And so that's you just kind of have to accept that fact when you come forward. I just don't care if people don't believe me anymore. I've gotten to the point where I try to encourage people to tell their stories if they wish to, but that's entirely up to them. I mean, you're truly like getting vulnerable and exposing yourself to the
And
world when you do a podcast like this or you tell your story.
And it's not even the fact that we need evidence of your story. We believe you if you believe yourself. If you believe that you went through an experience, we'll believe you and we'll help you out with your experience. We don't need the pictures. We don't need the results of anything. We just want to hear your story and we'll help you through whatever you're going through.
Well, it's also not our place to tell them you're lying about your story. That's not what we do here at all. This is a safe zone for people to come and talk. You don't even have to be cryptid or paranormal or alien related. If you've got trauma in your life that you are, struggling with, that you need help finding ways to cope through it, this is what we're here for. And it's not our place to sit here and judge somebody or judge their story or say that they're lying. We take their information and we just listen. It's okay sometimes to just shut up and listen. Give somebody some
Well, I think my
to
trauma
vent to.
in an early childhood was the thing that opened me up to this kinds of experiences, to tell you the truth. Because had I not gone through it, I probably wouldn't have. And if I didn't have anxiety, I probably wouldn't have that. I wouldn't say it's an ability, but like perception into things that aren't hiding amongst us, right? And I believe there's things hiding amongst us. Now, do I know what they are? No. I couldn't for sure tell you that I know that what I went through is what I went through. But that's what I went through. That was my experience. I could not tell you that for sure. And I doubt it sometimes too. I kind of try to analyze it. I mean, I had a friend who was
Well, isn't that sort of the trademark of the experience? Is that you kind of left wondering exactly like what happened, and did that just happen? Is that real? So even if you're sure it happened, it kind of leaves you with like,
More
well,
questions than answers.
yeah, and even so, there's a lot of people that will say something happened, and that they'll still kind of come away with it saying, "Well, I think," like there's still like I don't know, that maybe that's just human nature to have like an element of doubt after something like something weird happens to you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when it happens to you personally, yes.
I agree.
When you share it with others, though, it becomes validation. It becomes
Yeah.
validation. It really does.
Especially when somebody
You know what
else
I
has
mean?
experienced similar.
I think it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. I've been blessed
Mhm.
to be able to have these experiences and be able to share them with others and gain that validation. But it's also kind of like a cross to bear too, because like you're kind of constantly throughout my life, like I said, there isn't a time of day that I'm not thinking about almost all of the experiences I had. They stick with you, and then you're in your mind trying to piece it together, like what happened, and you know, what was it? Am I sure that I know what it was? And then
Right.
also, like as time passes too, you get older. Sometimes like you forget certain things too. You know, I'm glad that I still have the memories intact right now, and that I'm able to tell the story. But you know, but yeah, I've had a lot of strange things. I guess you could. People would say, "Oh, you're lucky." I'm like, I don't know. I don't know because
I
like
don't know about that. Yeah.
well, yeah, because like there's been this strive to live a normal life if I could have one, and then I realized that that's not that normal is illusion, like, and
Mhm.
that there's no normalcy is what I'm experiencing. That's the real world. The real world is someplace just odder and stranger than you can imagine.
Stuff never leaves your head either when you have something like
No,
that
no, never does.
happen.
Never does.
All right, Dr. Clutch, now it's your turn. So
um,
have you had an encounter that's really just kind of stuck with you and has, kind of messed with your life a little bit? Been hard
yeah,
to come up with.
the main one was a couple of years ago. Talked about it on the previous show a little bit, but yeah, it was what I would guess is a shadow creature encounter, or a hooded entity encounter, and it was. I mean, you could say it was just a night terror, or bad dream, or lucid dream, or something, but it was very convincing that it was in my living room, and whether I was somehow on the astral plane or not, it was still very real, um, real enough to where, like, after after I finally came to, I had to turn on all the lights in my condo and wander around, and I didn't want to go outside because I was wondering, where did this thing go? Is it outside waiting for me? Um, but yeah, it was during the encounter. It was like I was laying in bed, kind of waking up, I guess, and maybe I was half asleep, but I was pretty certain I was awake. I felt very awake, and I was looking down the hall into my living room, and then I saw a hooded figure. And at the time, I was seeing it, it felt like the hooded figure was able to make me feel calm, but in an artificial way, because ordinarily I would think if you saw something like that, you'd freak out and piss your pants or whatever, wet the bed. But I felt pretty calm through seeing the hooded figure. And I was just kind of looking at it, and I guess it looked to acknowledge me, and it seemed like maybe a minute and a half or so. Maybe it was less time than that. And then the more I started to realize what I was looking at, my body started to wake up more. And then the scene kind of dissipated, or the figure dissipated or went away, or maybe it went through the wall or something to the neighboring condominium unit. That was the other thing. I was because I live like in an 8-unit condominium building, and I wondered, like, was this also in somebody else's unit? Did it just enter my unit? Did it go outside? Where did it go? I think that really bothered me afterwards. Like, where did this thing go? I remember telling Mojo about it, and he was like, "Oh, you should get some salt or something." And because I didn't, I was gonna burn some sage later on that week. Never got around to it, but I did get out some salt and put some salt in a few areas in the condo. But yeah, I was pretty spooked out and didn't really go back to sleep after that, and it kind of messed with me for a few weeks, because I just couldn't get over where this thing came from, what it wanted, why I had to see it, or why, like, what, there's so many questions. Like, and at the time too, I think, in terms of paranormal events, it didn't seem like there was a whole lot of reporting on shadow beings and hooded figures. And I went on the internet and just kind of crawled through YouTube and Google as best I could to see, if there were any other people that had a similar experience. And I did find some information, but it wasn't a lot. They seemed to be just like one-off reports. I guess the ufologist Richard Dolan, his wife Tracy Dolan, she had a shadow being encounter, and I thought that was cool to come to know that. It took me a while before I ever heard about her encounter and her report, but it was nice to hear, or satisfying to hear, because like, I feel like Richard Dolan's a pretty popular guy, and very credible, and it was interesting to hear somebody of, I guess, like, popularity status that had a report about a shadow figure, because it just seems rare. Because you hear more, you almost hear more about Dogman than you do shadow beings, or Dogman, or Wendigo, or even fairy encounters, more than you hear about shadow beings. I don't know if they're becoming popular now, or if more people are willing to speak about them. But I'd heard, I guess, Wes Germer from Sasquatch Chronicles, I think he's taken at least a couple of shadow being encounter reports. There's one that's fairly recent, at least within the last 20 episodes on his site. And that one was an interesting encounter, because that encounteree he witnessed like upwards of 10 in one encounter. So I was kind of feeling lucky. Well, at least I only saw one. I don't think I could handle seeing more than one. But yeah, it was not easy to process after that. And it's still, like, every now and again, if I think about it long enough, it'll kind of bother me. But
Yeah. Did you ever get any nightmares from it?
No, prior to that, I've had weird, I guess, nightmares where somebody felt like somebody was trying to kill me in my nightmare, like, or
Oh,
I'd wake up like feeling like somebody was trying to choke me or something, and I was like, what?
Mm-mm.
Um, and even those that sounds like really terrorizing, but at the time those weren't as terrorizing as actually seeing the shadow person.
Right.
So I had a couple of those. I wondered maybe if it was just related to a shitty job I had. I don't know. Um, um, yeah, and I think nightmares for me are pretty rare. So I don't. I've heard other people get night terrors pretty bad, or they'll get like almost chronic. And I've been lucky to where, and even that shadow encounter, that shadow being encounter, I wouldn't qualify that as a nightmare exactly, but it was only because I was more scared when I woke up, like well in the aftermath. But at the time it was happening, I did not feel scared, although I should have
Kind of sounds like
felt
a
scared.
succubus, in my opinion, because
The
they lure you
succubus?
in. Yeah, they lure you in, giving you false sense of security, and
Hmm.
then that's when take they latch on to you. They give you that
Hmm.
false sense of calm, like what you were saying that it gave you, and then it lures you in.
Wait, from what I understand, a succubus is more like a female entity that lures men, and then the incubus is the male entity that lures
Mm-hmm.
women. So I couldn't tell if this thing was male or female. Um, my hunch was it could have been male, but there was no way for me to know. I couldn't just check under the hood. No pun intended. Um,
yeah, it could have been.
but yeah, it's an
I just
interesting.
caught, I just caught on to that just now.
It's an interesting crossover between the succubus and shadow entity, where they can make you feel artificially calm, though. That does, and actually that would be terrorizing if it was succubus and they're able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Because then you'd be like, you'd wake up and be like, what mess did I just get into?
Yeah.
absolutely. That's, I mean, I've seen, after I had my Dogman encounter, I started having this really tall black shadow in my house, and it's gone now. We got rid of it. Finally,
Hmm.
it took us a while. But I had nightmares from that. That's why I was asking about your nightmares. I kept seeing that shadow. I don't remember seeing a hood.
Hmm.
Um, but I knew it was very big and had very broad shoulders. And I don't know what it was. I just looked over to the left by my front door, and it was standing beside my shoe basket, and I watched it move. And we stayed in the living room for a while. And
Well, that's an interesting thing you bring up, because you didn't see a hood, and when I was curious about, one of the things I was wondering, like, are hooded figures different than shadow entities? Are they different? Are they the same? And I think they're like cousins of each other. But I because I did see like like when I went through the internet, I heard about shadow people encounters, and I was like, but is what I saw a shadow person? So I couldn't, because I wanted to classify it as like a hooded figure, but I
mhm.
and I don't know if they're the same, but it was confusing to me at the time. I was like, are these the same? Are they different? And that also kind of bothered me, because I think I desperately wanted to categorize this as a specific thing.
Right.
And
I know I've heard a
yeah.
lot of people talk about shadow figures with hoods, and some people relate them to the Hat Man. And
Hmm.
I've heard that before. I don't know. I've never seen one with a. It's just something I would have to experience on my own. If I ever experience it, I'll let you know my thoughts on it.
Yeah, let me know. Yeah.
Let's hope you
Hope
don't ever experience it.
not, though. I'm all about that. So we have this joke on with some people on our TikTok page we go live with, and they swear up and down I manifest stuff. They swear up and down I do, because the one guy said that I bought a Jeep, okay, and like months prior to me buying a Jeep, I'm talking like, yeah, one day I'm gonna own a Jeep. I keep telling him this. We have discussions about it, and then I go and I wrecked my car, an accident, slid on black ice, rolled my car 3 times. So I get the insurance money back. Guess what I buy? I got a Jeep. And he's like, you manifested that. And I'm like, well, you guys stop saying that. I didn't manifest anything. So hopefully I didn't just manifest a hooded shadow figure in my house.
Yeah, hopefully not.
Hopefully not. I'll let you
Better
know.
lay that stage out thick tonight.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going to burn my Palo Santos now.
A
So
lot of the time when people talk about shadow beings, they might talk about other dimensionals, but they are often referenced in a lot of esoteric books about like spirits of the dead, right? Like some sort of shade or wraith. You know?
Right.
And I think
That's the other thing. It's like where, like, you figure, okay, the Bigfoot lives in the wilderness. The Dogman kind of lives in the wilderness. The UFOs are in
everywhere.
space or another dimension, I guess. But it's like, so where do the shadow people come from? Like all these other entities seem to like have some origin, mythological or not. But that was the other thing that bothered me. It's like, where is this really a ghost? And if that is a ghost, like it's like a type of ghost, but it's still like, it bothers me. Like, where does it come from? What is its origin?
Well, there is a thing called the veil, and supposedly these creatures come over from a veil or a portal that has been opened up in through a veil.
You
They're
mean
just on the other side of the veil.
yeah.
Yes.
the veil is,
We
the
have
veil
people
is the
how they-
parallel dimensions that
layers.
surround us. The veil is the unseen, the parallel dimensions around us.
Yeah.
And some of it,
Think of a dome. Think of a dome. Alicia, think of a dome. I'm trying to think. There's a movie that best relates to this, though. But it's like an invisible dome around us. That's like a veil. And then they can open portals and come out through the veil and like actually be physically standing here with us.
I think we're the
I mean,
portals. I think we're the transmitters. I think we're the portals.
You think so?
Oh yeah, I believe that very.
That's interesting.
possible.
I think
That's very interesting.
I think that we once you become aware of the unseen around you, that it's hard for them to hide, and then you just be able to spot them, right? So I think that
We were talking about shadows.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mojo, I couldn't hear you.
It's okay.
And I wanted to show you.
Okay.
I want to show Dr. Clutch this, okay? Because this is kind of like how I see shadow people. This is the only label that I can put on this photo. I might have to click through a bunch of them, so you guys might see some really cool stuff until I find the right one. Oh, I didn't have to. Okay, there it is. So that's what I think of as a shadow person. That's not a Bigfoot. That's not a Dogman. It looks like one of us, just shadow form standing behind a tree.
Yeah. Almost like a Slender Man.
Yeah.
Kind of. Where I researched, they talk about a lot of stories about wandering soldiers from the Civil War and stuff. So I was thinking maybe this was one of them, but based off of how I was feeling with it, I don't think it's that. I think this is something very sinister. I think it's a very dark entity. But we call him Jonesy. He's our shadow person. So when we were talking about shadow people, this brought to my mind, and I wanted to show Dr. Clutch. Hopefully I didn't trigger you.
No.
Okay, all right, cool. I'm not, I tried to make everybody feel comfortable and not trigger them.
Of course.
Yeah, I mean, this was caught that on photo, and that's the only label we can put to it is shadow person.
And it's an interesting thing, Mojo, that you brought up race. Because race have that ability, like, it seems like it just dissipates right through the wall. Race had that ability, and he was saying that it like dissipated right through the wall into the other condominium.
Right. Yeah. Actually, the wraith concept is pretty frightening. Timothy Alberino, he's like a Christian paranormal researcher, but he was saying that demons are wraiths, and he said like so.
Oh, interesting.
But that was his thinking, like demons are wraiths, and I would have more questions for him because I was like, well, does that mean all shadow people or hooded figures would be demons because they seem very wraith-like in that they are like kind of a mist or just kind of this not exactly physical, it's not like plasma or something, but it's like something you can't really touch.
I mean,
Whereas
when
like
I
your
encountered
Dogman
some
or
of these
Bigfoot, it
things,
seems like a more physical.
the fairy encounter I had was like that.
Go ahead.
The fairy encounter I had was it disappeared like it never even existed.
So that seems wraith-like.
The alien, the gray alien that was in the room disappeared as if it never existed. It just disappeared like out of existence. When I told the story of the first Bigfoot encounter I did on Creepy Culture a couple times, that thing seemed to be made out of like pure shadow. Like as if light was being sucked into it type of shadow.
Huh.
Yeah, you hear that a lot with some Sasquatch and Dogman encounters where they absorb all the light, or they're blacker than black.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Except for the light reflecting upon its muscles and its features, that was all I could tell. The fairy one wasn't made of shadow. The fairy one that I saw was very brief.
Hey, he said the alien that he's seen was wraith-like because of the way it just dissipated. It reminds me of y'all's experience at LBL, that alien that was just gliding that you seen, and
It
it literally was gliding in between the trees and stuff like that.
I'm telling you, I watched this. It looked like an alien to me. Okay, so rakes, I'm not saying wraiths, but rakes are typically nocturnal creatures, meaning they only come out at night. This was early in the day, and me and Jen and her son saw this. It looked like a gray alien, and it was gliding. And I watched it go into a tree and not come out the other side, just went into a tree.
Weird. Weird.
It's very weird. And, I've been back to that area, but yeah, it does kind of remind you a little bit of that. Man, there's some really weird stuff out there. Sometimes when I'm sitting here talking about this, I'm like, what am I talking about? I told somebody the other day, I was down there talking to a friend of mine down at LBO, and I'm kind of getting comfortable with this guy, this gentleman, and he's telling me some stories. I'm sharing some of my stories, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the day that I see a unicorn in here. That's where I'm at, because I've seen so much. Some of it I can't even explain. There's no words to explain it. I wouldn't be surprised if I saw a unicorn.
There are a lot of strange encounters that go beyond just what a lot of people have reported. Like, there's a pundit on YouTube called Beyond Creepy who tells stories, really strange stories of strange cryptids and strange alien encounters, and even like encounters where like someone was going out squatching and they ran into a couple men in black that did something to them. There's been stories of like, we had Zach Black on our show. He was telling us about, well, they called it an evil Spider-Man encounter, but when we did the AI version of it, it looked something totally different. But there are people that seen things that seem to come from like a TV show or from a book. Like, yeah, not like that. No, that's not.
I had to, because I remember my dad did that. I had to pop that up.
It looked like didn't it look more like a dog kind of, but I mean it was, I mean I don't know, but it's pure black, right? Isn't that how you described it?
Yeah.
But it had like a snout, uh, no ears type of thing, really like weird hind legs. I mean I don't know what it was. But it was, he said it was climbing up the side of a cliff in Arizona. There has been sightings of like winged people, toys getting like activated and coming to talk to people. And another thing with the alien encounters is people see these strange owls outside their window.
Oh yes,
Just
owls.
Yeah, that's a
before,
big thing in the Native American folklore is owls, and some of them they're omens of death and stuff, harbingers of death.
yeah, especially in Mexico, they believe that they're witches. That an owl is a witch, you know.
That's interesting.
That is very interesting. Yeah.
And then there's some that believe that owls are not a harbinger of death, but they're like a protector, right? But there's so many I mean, like the other day, like I was talking to a friend of mine, and I was kind of doubting some of these experiences, and I was quickly changed my mind when I remembered an encounter that someone had taken a picture of. It was on, once again, Beyond Creepy. If you ever get a chance to check that show out, I highly recommend it. But there was a guy who snapped a picture just before an abduction of an alien that looked like the character Alf. Remember the show Alf from the TV show Alf?
See, that sounds like a manifestation. If you
It looked
manifest
just
Alf.
like it. He had a picture of it. He had a picture of it just before he got abducted.
That's crazy.
So, like, how much of this is like, do we manifest with our own consciousness? How much of it is some entity able to take the form of something that we can understand? How much of it is an actual entity? Hard to say. But I mean, if you're talking about an area of strangeness, I mean, like, my question would be, like, have you ever gone out to the LBL with like an electromagnetic frequency reading? Right? Like
Yep.
if you went out there and tested those electromagnetic frequencies, is it putting out those frequencies? And if it is, there's the possibilities it could be affecting not only the brain but consciousness too. Right?
That's exactly what me and Jen was talking about a few months ago. Exactly what we were talking about. And I even, I mean, I have my EMF getting a Geiger counter, and then I'm also working on a frequency reader that will connect to my computer, and I'll have a program where I can read those frequencies. And because I mean, I was in an area that my EMF was on the ground. I was about 6 foot away from it, and the thing kept going. EMF 5.
Crazy.
No
Yeah.
electronics around it, by the way. So I'm thinking, okay, this is too coincidental. Let me pick it up, shut it off, restart it, and move it off to the right a little bit and see what results we get from that. So I did. I walk away. Again, no electronics around it. EMF 5. It just continued going EMF 5. And that night, I heard my name. Something in the woods said my name, said Trisha. And my husband got his ass chewed out by 2 women, me and another one, because we thought it was him that said it. He's like, it wasn't me. We had a bunch of freaky stuff happening, and I wish I would have had a compass, because if I would have had a compass, like a handheld compass, not one on my phone, with that going off like that, with that electromagnetic field, that compass would have been spinning.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to document that.
Another thing you could do is another test you could do is I've heard stories of people who live too close to like high electrical power lines and the electromagnetic frequencies that come from that. So if you were to take your meter and then go over there and just test it scientifically, does this produce something similar that I figured out over here in the LBL or in the woodland area, and then go back out there and record the results to see like, because I mean, if there's no power lines there, then there's something going on. I know that the human body produces an electromagnetic field when we meditate. We go through the different stages in our brainwave patterns that we put out of field when we meditate. So, like you've talked about, like the spirits of the dead there. I mean, researching who's died there. Has there been a tragedy there? Because when you talk about portals, and I'm talking about humans being this transmitter, like there are cases where when people have died tragically in a large area, that it leaves like weird temporal distortions, strange electromagnetic readings, right? And that I think in itself can lead to that conclusion that like maybe when someone dies, the portal that was keeping it contained in the meat suit that we're living in is now free, right? But there's also something to be said about, like, I think David Paulides talks about this, where he's talking about pools of water and running water. Am I correct, Clutch, where that's clear that where there's strange activity near pools of water and running water?
Absolutely. Hmm.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Hard to say, but I think that we some of it is part manifestation. I think some of it's something else. Like, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
It really is.
You were talking about, a lot of people in dying and all the trauma of the land. That's LBO in a nutshell. I mean, I can't even tell you. It's nothing but a big cemetery. I mean, there's 277 listed cemeteries, and I can't even tell you the amount that's not listed. Plus, there's graves under the water, under the lakes. So yeah, I think you're right. That has a lot to do with a lot in there. And
Have you ever thought about taking your electromagnetic reader and going to those grave sites? Yeah, what's that high pitched sound? What's that high pitched sound?
I don't know. It's driving me nuts.
So we have a lake here in Oklahoma. It's called Lake Eufaula, and it is a man-made lake, and it has taken out towns and all sorts of stuff. They tried moving graves and stuff out of the lake before they put the lake in there, but they didn't manage to get all of the graves. And here recently, there's been a lot of drownings in that lake, and people are saying like that people are getting pulled under the lake. Like one of the ones was a person on a speedboat, or not a speedboat, a jet ski. Like he stood up randomly, just stood up and then dived in and then didn't come back up.
Yeah,
Well, that's upsetting.
I've heard of the stories of that lake.
You are trying to have fun on a jet ski.
Yeah. And then you get sucked in. Yeah. Yeah, it's it would probably be a very interesting thing. I was trying to connect Trisha with some local ghost hunters that are near your area. If you ever decide to reach out to them, there's a couple of friends of mine. We've had them on our show before, and they do ghost hunting, but they're pagans. They're called Witch Division, and Witch Division goes out. They've gone out to parts of Alabama to go to these towns where there's nothing but ghosts. They'll go to all these old abandoned graveyard sites to go test to see if there's with their electromagnetic readings. And if you're ever interested, I think I pointed them into your direction. But they do the same kind of thing, and you'd be surprised the overlap between spirit investigations and different entities too. Like there's a lot of that. I think it's like Daryl Denton said one time on her show, it's all connected. UFOs, spirits, Sasquatch, Dogman, all these different types of entities. It's somehow connected. But hard to say. I still say I don't know. And the minute I start saying that I know what it is, or I'm for sure what it is, somehow the universe or whatever decides to show me that I don't know what I'm talking about half the time, other than I
don't think any of us know for sure what anything is, and nobody's an expert at it. And I hear a lot of people talk about, oh well, I'm the only person that does this and this and this, and they make themselves sound like an expert. And it's like, come on, guys, you're not. Nobody is.
No,
Nobody. We're all still learning. We're all still trying to figure it all out together. And that's why I think podcasts and I think researchers coming together and sharing results and discussing our notes is the only way that we're going to be able to get some sort of legit answer.
I agree.
I agree.
And then Trish has even said that she has a whole notebook of questions she's going to talk to God about whenever she gets to the other side.
I do. Do I have it here? Okay, it's in my Bible study book. It really is. The questions
For sure.
because I do have a lot. I want to know. And if I don't know what everybody's religion is, but I know I'm a Christian. I believe in God, and I sit here every day and I'm like, oh God, whenever I meet you, I got a lot of questions.
So many questions.
You might get a little annoyed with me, and I apologize.
Well, I'm a heathen that has Christian friends, and I'm okay with that. I don't hold on to any of the old like things that I couldn't change or I wasn't around to watch.
Yeah.
I feel like if I hold on to too much stuff in the past, then you can't get along with everybody. And I've kind of gone through the whole political gambit of left and right, like paradigm, to the point where I just don't care anymore. So
Yeah.
for me, like it's about, like I said before earlier, it's like about building bridges and communicating with others, because we're all kind of in the same kind of community, and how to build a community, and how do we we all got to pay our dues as podcasters, but at the same time, how can we learn from each other, and how can we support each other, even if we have different points of view or different spiritual beliefs, or what we do have is a human connection to the weird and bizarre and strange things of this world, that we know for our own experiences that there is more to this world than what we've been told and that we've been lied to, right? So for me, it's about helping build those communities. I'm not here as a podcaster to tell any podcaster how to do their show. I'm just here to open up communication and friendship and goodwill to not only you or to others a part of our community and those that have had experiences, and to have them be able to feel free to share. I think the time for a lot of people, even though you might be scared, the time is now. The time is now for you to come out and not be afraid. The more you talk about it, it doesn't matter whether people are going to believe you or if people are going to judge you. I know that's a big deal, but you just can't care about that. You have to care about what you know is your truth. Now, not everyone's going to be ready for it. And like I said before, the minute you tell your story or the minute you start showing any kind of thing, you're going to have people that hate on you. But in the end, let them be peanut butter and jealous. Really, let them, if they want to do a show, then let them do a show. Let the debate continue. I don't want people to agree with me. I don't care if people believe in me, but if you can come on my show, let's talk about it. Let's talk about your belief systems and what you think. And we really pride ourselves in freedom of speech. I think freedom of speech is paramount. Even speech that makes other people feel uncomfortable, and topics that make people feel uncomfortable. If we can't talk about it, we're constantly worried about how other people feel, then we're never going to have the exchange of ideas or creativity or whatever, and criticism's okay. I think criticism's okay, but I just don't believe in it's something that Mike told me, Monster Mike. He's like, yeah, it's a cutthroat business, and there's people who have nothing better to do but want to take you out, and I'm just like, well, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I'd rather be neutral ground for people to come on and feel free to come on to our podcast and just discuss what they go into. I don't care where you come from. I want you to be able to, I've had my share of hostile guests too. I've been a veteran podcaster since 2020. I've had a few guests that were I'd never have them back on my show because they were so angsty or whatever, or they just weren't a guest. We had the guy one time. Clutch couldn't make the show that day, and I'm calling him up on the phone, and I'm getting this guy who started the Satanic Temple, and he comes on my show, and he's a nasty person, and I'm like, Clutch, Clutch, get on the air. He's all, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, ah. But I handled it, right? I still had him on the show. We still finished the show. We had a good show. But you know, it's to me, it's about putting it all out there, letting the audience decide what's real, what's not real. You know.
Yeah, and having respect for one another is an important thing. It's okay to agree to disagree and talk through it. I think debates are an amazing thing, but I think they need to be done with respect. You know, you don't
put somebody down for what they believe in.
Yeah, exactly. Like I just said earlier, just shut up and listen. It's that simple. Just shut up and listen. You know, you don't have to agree with them.
A lot of the things I learned about the mainstream news too, like if you watch like a Piers Morgan episode, right? It's that British guy that has people on.
Oh, he's horrible.
You'll have a panel of 5 people, and all they do is just yell over each other, and like nobody gets a chance to talk. And like the minute you lose your cool, you've lost, you know, and you lose your emotion to it. You lose your ability to like be able to contribute to the plan of ideas. I'm not saying one person's right.
His show is like unwatchable. It's horrible.
It's unwatchable.
It's just brutally honest about it. I love it. You gotta say the things that people don't want to hear. You have to say it.
Yep.
You know, and sometimes I wish I could just be like, open your eyes, just open. And this is not cryptid related. It's about other stuff. It's like, open your eyes and see what's going on.
Yeah, but you have a pretty good thing you're doing here. I mean, I think you're kind of connected to Coven of Curiosities, and you're connected. See, that's how you band together with other groups. You know, you start to build this thing. I had this idea. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but like starting a page for podcasters that we're all kind of connected in the paranormal world if they want to join, like whether it be UFOs or whatever. It doesn't matter how successful you are in it or how low you are in the totem pole, but just a place where we can just talk about our successes and our failures and offer tech support and try to help each other out. I don't know what you guys think of that. That was just an idea. And then, you know, it's not about getting in anyone's lane, like trying to tell, like, you should do your podcast like this. No, it's just about a place where we can just share, like, you know, as a group, like our, you know, favorite podcast episodes and what we've done, what we accomplished, and, you know,
That would be nice.
If you like that, yeah, just an idea. You know, if you like it, get with me. I'll start a page and start inviting people who have podcasts. And
yeah,
we'll see what's up, because there's so many of us out there now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we have been going for almost 2 hours now, and I'm telling you, I had so many questions. And Mojo, it's like you've been in my head, and you've answered every question that I've had in my head, because you've touched on everything I was going to ask. I don't have to ask it now. So thank you for that. You just made my job a little easier.
Yeah. Well,
but
I'm
really
honored to be here.
You guys coming on today.
Thank you.
It was good talking with y'all.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So this Saturday, we're going to be with Trisha and Mike of Monsters Unleashed on the Of Dark Matters podcast. For all those that are listening in, please join us. Please join us. Subscribe, like, share, subscribe. And come on to the chat and say hello, you know, and we're going to be talking. They're going to be showing some evidence. They're going to be talking about their lives, and we're excited to have them there. And just as excited to be here with you all again. And if you want us on again, you just let us know, and we'll try to give it a chance. I know Clutch can be kind of busy up and down, and it's great to have Clutch here. But you let me know, and I'll see what I can do. And
Absolutely.
So 3 p.m. Pacific, 6 p.m. Eastern is going to be the show starting.
I put your link in the comments. People just had to scroll up, but I did type it in. I kept typing it in a couple of times in the comments. So hopefully people went over during the show and hit that subscribe button. But other than YouTube, where else can people find you both?
Clutch?
Let's see. Well, Well, our general page is ofdarkmatters.com. Mojo has an amazing music channel over at suno.com if you have that I like to promote. And then I have a Substack at drclutch.substack.com.
You can also find us past episodes on Spotify from all of our audio podcasts. You can also find us on Audible, Amazon Music. I think at one time we were on Apple iTunes, but I couldn't tell you if we're still there anymore. I know we're not on Podbean.
Probably not.
We go live on X under Of Dark Matters Podcast. We're also under Facebook, which unfortunately won't let me connect my podcast to our podcast page, but we also have a podcast page there. And then we're also under YouTube at Of Dark Matters. And we're going to be, I believe this is episode 14. We're on episode 14 right now. We had to start over, basically. We had, supposedly we had 7,000 followers on Podbean worldwide.
I think they inflate our numbers just a tad.
Just a little bit, yeah. Just a little bit. But now we're starting over, and it can only get better. And to those that are making podcasts, don't give up. Just keep doing it. You didn't do this for the followers. You did this because you wanted to do something. So stick to that memory and keep creating.
Absolutely. It's not about the views or the followers. It's about putting out truth. It's about having a good time. It's about, I love doing, well, I don't want to say I love doing podcasts, but it's not been bad. I've enjoyed meeting new people. Actually, definitely brought the social side of me out, because a lot of people person. I'm just not. But this is.
I'm definitely not.
But guys, thank you guys for coming on here. I'm gonna go ahead and put you guys in the back room while we close out the show, and I will see you guys Saturday.
See you guys. Thank you.
Awesome. See you guys later.
Good to see you.
Have a wonderful night. Honored to be here.
Thank you.
Yep.
Well, if it'll work. There we go. Well, everybody, that was a great show. I've had a lot of fun talking to Dr. Clutch and Mojo the Mad. I'm super excited to be on their show Saturday. You guys are going to get like a double take on Monsters Unleashed Saturday, because we have Mojo and Dr. Clutch's show, and then we have our show immediately afterwards. So make sure you hop over to Of Dark Matters on YouTube and give him a subscribe. Watch some of his previous shows. Your thoughts, like them, share them, really show your support if you can. That's what we're about here. We're about love. We're about boosting one another, supporting one another, and sharing our thoughts, no matter whether we agree or disagree, because you're going to have that in life, and it's important we have that in life. So, love everybody. Jen, do you have any final thoughts or anything you want to say?
No, thank you guys for being here, and thanks to Mojo and Clutch for sharing some more of their experiences. That was really cool. And I was just glad to see everybody tonight.
Alicia, do you have anything you want to add?
No, it was just good meeting Dr. Clutch and Mojo the Mad. And thank you, everybody, for having us.
All right, I'm going to play one little short video because I just love this video. I'm going to play it.
People that are doing shit are too busy to talk shit. So next time somebody's talking some shit, just step back and realize they ain't doing shit. Because if they were doing shit, they wouldn't have time to talk shit. It's just that simple.